Hello, everyone. My name is Charlotte Migchels. I'm a fifth-year trainee in general adult psychiatry in Belgium, and I'm also the current president of the European Federation of Psychiatric Trainees, or EFPT in short. I would like to thank my dear friend Eka for inviting me to do this presentation for you. I'm very sorry I wasn't able to do it live. I think that's probably the one downside of international collaborations, that is conflicting time zones. But either way, I'm very happy to talk to you guys a bit about the importance of bringing together young psychiatrists internationally. And I'm very happy to present what I may say is quite a successful case example, the EFPT. To provide a bit of background, so as the name says, EFPT is a federation representing trainees, psychiatric trainees in Europe. So you can see here the map of Europe, and all the blue countries are member countries of EFPT. The map is actually not up to date. Last year, a few countries joined us, such as Armenia, Montenegro. So yeah, this map is almost completely blue now. As you can see, we talk about member countries. So even though individuals are very important within EFPT, we need the driven, ambitious individuals. You can't be a member of EFPT as an individual. So only a country can become a member through your National Trainee Association or your NTA. And I think the countries that aren't member countries yet are mostly the countries that struggled to build an NTA within their country. So yeah, once a country has established an NTA, they can apply to become a member of the EFPT, at least if they are a country within Europe, that is. Of course, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. This map and this number of countries, we didn't come to that over one night's sleep. So to show you a bit of the history of EFPT, it's almost 30 years ago now that I believe it was 3 countries decided to join together and talk about how they could collaborate internationally to improve their training in psychiatry. I believe it was the UK, the Netherlands, and Belgium that actually met up in London in 1992. And it is regarded as the first EFPT forum. Our forum is actually our annual congress that is held in the country of the president in summer each year. And as you can see, the number of countries participating in these forums grew every year. So like I said at the beginning, it was only very few countries coming together, and then more and more countries in Europe joined in the EFPT. And in 2010, it became an official federation, a non-profit organization registered in Brussels in Belgium. And by the Prague Forum in 2019, which was due to the coronavirus, was our last live forum, there were over 45 countries present. Now, some people paying attention might know that there aren't that many countries in Europe. It was actually because we had our first overseas program as well, which I will talk about a bit later. So here you can see a bit of where the EFPT forums have taken place. Like I said, it's an annual congress organized by the current president in the country of the current president. And it's been around Europe, it's traveled around Europe, our forum has. This is a picture, like I said, of the last live forum that we had in Prague in 2019. And if you look very well, somewhere in the center, slightly to the right, you can see that Eka was present there, because it was the year that we had a very successful overseas program. So because EFPT over the last almost 30 years has been doing a lot of work within Europe, the mental working group decided that, you know, we also wanted to involve people outside of Europe and establish long-lasting collaborations with trainees and trainee associations outside of Europe. So in 2019, we had a very successful overseas program, and 5 overseas trainees joined us in Prague, and Eka was one of them. Together with, some are from Tunisia, from Australia, from Brazil, and from El Salvador. And there have been some long-lasting collaborations established there. Now, during our forum each year, we have a General Assembly. And during this General Assembly, the workings of EFPT are discussed. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but amongst other things, each year during the GA, our Board of Directors is elected. So a Board of Directors consists of 7 people. There's the president, which is me at the current time. There's the past president, so that's George Stetku, who was the president last year, organized the virtual forum, which was due to be held in Bucharest. And he stays on the board to ensure a smooth transition and to support me in my actions. There is a president-elect, which is Asilay this year from Turkey. And so she was on the board before already, but the president-elect is elected into the board and has a year's time to learn about the workings of EFPT, the workings of the board, before they become president and get to run the ship. We have our CAP secretary, which is our child and adolescent psychiatry secretary. So this position was made to ensure that not only trainees in adult psychiatry had their interests represented, but also child and adolescent psychiatry trainees obviously play a vital part in EFPT. And, we wanted to ensure that they always have a representation within the board, which is the case with the GAP secretary. Of course, we need a treasurer to look into our finances to make sure that we don't go into debt, our secretary, and an IT secretary, because especially in this day and age, everything that happens online is evolving so quickly, requires a lot of insight, a lot of time. So it is a dedicated position within the board. And as a board of directors, we meet monthly online, before COVID times, also sometimes face-to-face, to discuss the internal workings of EFPT, the projects that are going on, the awards that we have, the forum that will take place, the collaborations that we have with other organizations. So we, work hard all year to make sure that the EFPT keeps running as it should, and that all member countries stay involved. Obviously, it being quite a big organization by now, we can't do it all by ourselves, just the 7 of us. So the board of directors also elects general managers each year. These positions change, but we elect general managers actually depending on the need that there is within EFPT. So we have a social media general manager, because obviously social media is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our lives, and it's the way that people keep up to date with information. So Fabrizia, our social media general manager, she makes sure that everyone stays informed. We have an event general manager. This is a new position that we made because we have been organizing more and more online events this year. Due to Corona, it's become quite a hype to organize online events. EFPT has joined in on that. We organize a lot of free online events, meet the experts, journal clubs, all types of online lectures, events. And Ruta helps us with organizing, scheduling the events. National Trainees Association, GM, is quite an important one because, like I said, EFPT is based around the national trainee associations. Without them, there is no EFPT. But it's also a challenge because obviously people are in different countries. During the forum, everyone comes together, but afterwards they all go to their home country. Some stay heavily involved, some not so much. So the NTA GM really has the quite difficult task of keeping everyone involved, keeping everyone up to date about the EFPT working, different projects that we're starting. Yeah, and to make sure that every NTA's voice is heard, because I think that's quite important. Within EFPT, every NTA has the same voting rights, the same rights as any other NTA. There's no members that are more important, that have a bigger say than any other member country. And we find that quite important, obviously. And then we also have our newsletter editor, because we do send out a newsletter every 3 months, just to ensure that all our members stay up to date, that all information goes to the people that need to know it. So if you want to stay up to date about EFPT working, about EFPT events, projects, make sure to go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter, which is edited by yours. So I've showed you the board of directors, which does the day-to-day, workings of EFPT, the general managers who have more specific tasks. Like I said, the NTAs are at the heart of EFPT. Next to that, the working groups are also very important for EFPT. And they're actually the ones that stay active throughout the year, and that make sure that EFPT continues to have new projects. And we have 8 working groups now. You can read them here. They all have their specific workings. They all have a chair. And that's how, as an individual member, usually people become involved in EFPT. They join a working group, any working group that has their interest, and they start building projects. And the working groups play a huge part in the output of EFPT. They do guidebooks, for example, psychotherapy guidebook. They do presentations, publications, workshops throughout the year and during the forum. So they really are the beating heart of EFPT. One of the big benefits of having this international collaboration, of being represented as trainees internationally, is that you represent quite a big group and you have quite a strong voice that is heard in other organizations as well. So EFPT throughout the years has established long-lasting collaborations with different international organizations. You can see some here: EPA, WPA, some child and adolescent associations as well, mostly European, but also international. And I think that's one of the very strong parts, or one of the really the very large advantages of being in a group and organizing yourselves internationally. Because if you say, well, I represent 10 trainees, I represent 100 trainees, or you can say I represent basically every trainee in this continent, people are more inclined to listen to you and give you a voice. And we've had amazing opportunities thanks to these organizations, and EFPT does their very best to make sure that the trainees' interests are represented on a higher level as well. I think this was the most or the biggest part of what I wanted to say. I think in conclusion, we can say that together we grow, which is also the theme of our forum this year, which was supposed to be held in Brussels, but unfortunately due to the COVID situation will be held online. And it just means that when we work together, we have a stronger voice. We get to do more interesting things, surveys, research, any project that you have. If you can expand it to a larger scale, it just becomes so much more interesting. You meet the most inspiring people that you will meet during your career in these international organizations, and you get to voice and you get to fight for what you think training should look like, and we make sure that trainees are heard and not overlooked. So if you want to find out more about what we do, how we work, our events, make sure to go to our website and to our social media. If you have any questions at all, if you'd like to find out more, if you're interested in, how can we do this here? How can we work more internationally? Make sure to contact me. Email me at president@efpt.eu, and I'll be happy to support in any which way I can. I would really like to thank and congratulate the Indonesian Association of Psychiatric Trainees. I think you've been a wonderful example of how an NTA can be built with the right views in mind, with the right ambitions, how quickly it can go, how impactful it can be. I've heard amazing things about the Asian Federation already, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing collaborations between Indonesia and EFPT, as we have been for the past 2 years now. And I'm very much looking forward to what's to come. Thank you very much for listening. I would like to add, we will be doing our overseas program again this year, but more information will follow soon. So keep an eye on our website and our social media, and you will find out how to apply for the overseas program and be able to join our forum, our online forum this year. So yeah, keep in track or keep in touch, and let me know if there's any questions. Thank you.